Ludicrous Feed is proudly sponsored by My Car, Tyre and Auto, Carloop, data to empower Australia's EV revolution, and Hankook, driving emotion. Hello everyone, I'm Tom, this is Ludicrous Feed you're watching, and welcome to a very wet drive with me in the Cadillac Lyriq all-electric vehicle, with thanks to General Motors Australia. Hopefully you can hear me through the rain. It's pretty crazy today. Yes, we are driving in this rain. Why am I driving in this rain, you might ask? Well, I have to drive in this rain because I have to return this car back to where it lives, which is out at the new MSR depot, which is where I get most of my press cars. They moved it from Marrickville to Liverpool, so you've got half an hour in the car with me. So I'll give you some commentary around this vehicle and just on the drive in general. And yes, the weather's not always perfect here in Australia. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of rain here in Sydney, which we've had for the last few weeks. I know, it's been nuts. That's all right. A bit of rain is good, I guess, for the plants, for ducks. Not so much for video content, although, you know what, we work with whatever. Look at this is insane, right? Yeah, so I guess we'll give the Lyriq a good run for its money, so to speak. And speaking of money, yes, it does cost a lot of money. I'll give you some specs of this vehicle as we drive across the Sydney Harbour Bridge in the wet. Still a beautiful landmark, but still very wet today. I will try to not drive in this right lane. I don't like the right lane. Most Sydney locals will know that it's pretty crazy, this lane, because it does switch direction. Sometimes the bridge, that middle two lanes, sometimes it's in this direction, sometimes it's in the other direction, depending on the time of day. So I try to avoid the oncoming cars as much as I can. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? So the Cadillac Lyriq, General Motors re-entry into the Australian market. We'll talk about that later on in our drive too. So we're talking $122,000 for the luxury variant, and then the $124,000 for the sport variant, so $2,000 difference. You get two variants, exactly the same in terms of performance and battery capacity, all those things, but there is differences. For the $2,000 you get basically cosmetic upgrades and bigger wheels as well, so sort of more sportier grille, body colored door handles, bigger wheels, those kind of things. For extra $2,000, hey, if you're going to spend this much money, you might as well just go for it, right? Just get the extra $2,000 worth, why not? So in terms of the actual vehicle itself, so it's a 5 meter long vehicle, approximately 3 meter long wheelbase. It's kind of like a sporty SUV, I guess you can call it, with a fastback. It's got 102 kilowatt hour NMC battery, about 500 kilometers of range, 0 to 105.3 seconds. Efficiency is 22.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, although in this car it tends to use the backwards units, so been averaging around 4.3, 4.4 at best kilometers per kilowatt hour. So kind of, if you do the calculations on that, it's around, let's see, it's around sort of, pretty close to 20, between 20 to 25 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So yeah, pretty much on spec. We drove it to Goulburn and back, Joy and I, and then charged it at a Tesla supercharger, which seemed to work pretty well. So that's good, verified that it does work at Australia's, I guess, most reliable DC charging network. Yeah, so not bad from that point of view. Yeah, so that's the kind of the specs, right? So yeah, you do get a very big battery, 2.6 tons as well, so quite a big boy. And for brand presence and street presence, it's definitely a 10 out of 10, right? It's a Cadillac, it's an old brand, very well known, lots of songs written about it. Interiors, it's an old money kind of vehicle you drive to the golf course and have drinks with your mates, that kind of thing. And yeah, very old world, old money, old school kind of vehicle. Software is not bad. At least it's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wireless. You need that because there's no native navigation system. Nice big display here. Feels a little bit, maybe a bit behind the Chinese cars still in terms of software, but it's not too bad. Probably a step up above VW from that point of view. So yeah, not bad for its first attempt in Australia. Although, you know, we're pretty picky about software these days, so I think there could definitely be some room for improvement. Who's going to buy this car? Yeah, look, obviously you want a unique vehicle, you want brand presence, street presence. You want something that's been around a while, maybe not in Australia, but you know, it's been around a long time in America. So that's the kind of person, I guess, who would buy this car or who would appeal to. I think, you know, a lot of brands do this when they enter Australia or enter any new market. They bring like their top spec, the most luxurious, so to speak, vehicle. Yeah, they're not going to sell a lot of these, but it's kind of like their bold statement into the country. And then I guess I'm looking forward to seeing the Optique, OPTIQ. I guess that's going to be Cadillac signature for their EVs, right? The Q on the end. So this is the so Optique is what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, Epic. No, hang on, that's the Hyundai. Epic. Yeah. So the Q is what Lyriq, sorry, I got a mental blank for a second. Lyriq, Lyriq, too many cars to review. Lyriq, Optique, yeah. Epic was the Hyundai's Ioniq line, so yes, so Epic is theirs, Lyriq is this one, Optique is the smaller 5-door or 5-seater SUV. Maybe that'll be the one that competes with like Model Y and Zeekr X, 7X and you know, Xpeng G6, that kind of mid-range SUV. Try and sneak some away from that very competitive segment. Yeah, it should be good. Should be good. So much choice, right? If you don't want Chinese, you don't want European, even if you don't want Tesla, which is, I guess, technically American, then there's another American brand here in the Cadillac and the General Motors variety. So good to see. Good to see. I'm all for it. I'm all for choice. And you know, you got to wonder, why do we have so many brands in Australia, right? Like, seriously, our population's not that big that we can support all these brands, but I have a feeling that because we don't have a manufacturing anymore in this country, I kind of feel like we are the perfect test bed in Australia, because we don't have a manufacturing market. We're still a Western country. You know, brands can bring out their cars here with maybe not the intention to sell volume, but at least they can test it with quite a vocal population. Like, we say our mind usually. I know certainly looking through the comments, you guys are very vocal about these cars, which is great. I love it. I learn a lot from you as well, from the comment section. You know, we as content creators, Joy and I, we're not afraid either to give our feedback. Haven't been told otherwise yet not to say anything from many brands, which we're very thankful for. We can remain, what's the word? Is independent still the right word? Maybe just a bit more, you know, critical in a good way, like giving feedback to these brands, and in a good way, like, you know, an encouraging way to make these cars better for the population, not just us, but for worldwide as well. Yeah, so I feel very fortunate to be able to test these cars in Australia on our roads in the real world. Like, we don't have perfect roads, as you might have seen today in other videos that we've done. There are potholes, especially when it rains, and our roads sometimes aren't perfect either. Joe and I live in the northern part of Sydney, so we have a lot of hills to contend with. It's not always straight and flat. A lot of twists and turns, which is great for handling tests and so on. So it's good. I feel very fortunate. Very fortunate. And, you know, different conditions too, right? You saw our Goulburn test drive to Tesla superchargers in the dry. It was a great day for it. Today, not so much in the wet. And we test different conditions too. Like, we test urban drives in the city, smaller roads, and then we're about to go into a tunnel right now. I think this is one of the longest tunnels possibly in Australia. The M8 tunnel, which connects the city, which is, well, we're kind of west of the city a little bit. And this connects down almost all the way to, I guess we want to call it like Kingsgrove or Hurstville down there in the southwest. Joins to the rest of the M5, but this is kind of a nice diagonal route across the city this way, which is nice. So here we go. Speaking of which, we're about to enter the M8 And as part of the privilege of testing these cars, I get to also test a lot of these motorways as well. So this will be the last traffic light we encounter for a while as we enter this M8 tunnel, very long tunnel. And get to see some of the, I guess, the insulation as well in this vehicle, because the tunnel obviously, you know, it's going to be a bit noisier since we're indoors for a while. Get to hear some of the traffic noise. I've got it on air entry, so actually no, I've got it on recirculate. That's fine. It's the tunnel, so I don't want to smell any fumes coming in. So yeah, I mean, driven a lot of cars, and I must say the insulation in this car is pretty good. Don't hear too much road noise and tyre noise coming through, or car noise from other cars, which is great. With the heavier rain, the rain sensing wipers has been quite good. I guess in like lighter rain, it's not as good. It doesn't know whether to start or stop. And then, like most camera-based systems, I'm not sure whether this is a camera-based system or a sensor-based system, this rain sensing wiper, but certainly with camera-based systems, during twilight or even when the conditions change from sunrise or sunset, then if there's any dust on the windscreen as the light hits the windscreen at a different angle, at a very acute, steep angle, then it tends to activate the wipers. So just something you're going to be aware of with camera-based systems. All right, let's activate cruise control, which is, I've got it on at the moment, so I just need to let's see, press reset. So resume. There we go. Resume. All right, we'll set it now. I guess it doesn't remember the last time we used it. Just zip it up to 90. You can probably just see it on the camera there. Just there. Looks okay from the camera, you can see it, but from me as the driver, this driver monitoring system is blocking my line of sight actually into the cruise, so it could probably move a little bit to the left. Hopefully for the next software update, if they do get it, hopefully Cadillacs get software updates. I said it also in the, well, there's no, also one more thing, there's no lane centering function, so no auto steer function, so I kind of have to drive this car. There is lane keeping, but it's not good enough, so it does like drive you from side to side. So it's not as good as like lane centering, right, or auto steer, so I've got to keep my hands on the steering wheel, like as if I'm driving, which is, you know, it's fine. As long as active cruise control is there, which is good. It is there. What was I going to say? Yeah, so it's got a very odd, very unique ADAS type of alert. So anytime you do anything wrong in this car, by wrong I mean if you veer a little bit to the side of the lane, if you're going over the speed limit by a little bit, if you're not paying attention to the road, fiddling with the screen, for example, driver monitoring comes on, then you get a nice little love tap on the bum, or on the bottom, or on the buttock, depending on which part of the world you are watching this from. Or upper thigh, that kind of junction, upper thigh, buttock area. Just a little tap, a little vibration there to say, hey, just pay attention there a bit more, or keep to the speed limit. You can turn it off, but look, I think it's actually better than the loud, blaring ADAS annoying beep from, you know, some other manufacturers, incessant noise. But yeah, it's a nice little tap, just a little vibration, just to keep you informed that you're not quite doing the right thing. Rightio, okay. So let's keep driving, and we will touch base. We'll touch base when there's something interesting happening. So stay tuned, everyone. Alright, so I'm going to zip out of this lane and just get around this truck. It's going too slow for me. Speed limit is 90 and I'm at 83 at the moment, so good thing about this vehicle is that it doesn't disengage cruise control for you. Well, there's no auto steer anyway, so just as well. So I'm going to go past this truck. The problem with all these speed cameras around now is that you can't like overtake too quickly, right? Otherwise you might get pranked or pinged. And you've got Waze, I guess, to show you if there's any cameras, but hopefully Waze knows where the tunnel cameras are. I'm not always as trusting in the tunnel. You'll notice too that the speedo or speedometer is 90 kph, and then the Waze GPS is 86. So, like most cars, I think most modern cars these days, there's a bit of a discrepancy between. Zip back in, sorry. Between, like, you know, true GPS or true speed versus the calibrated speedometer. It's probably a good thing. So you're not fighting the speed cameras. You know, there's some tolerance there, which is good. Yeah, this tunnel system in Sydney is incredible. There's a lot of road underground these days, which is not a bad thing. I guess it takes a lot of cars off the surface, I would hope. Yeah, I mean, the tolls are costly, but I guess time v money, right? If you really need to get around Sydney, and they've got a cap these days. Let's see what happens when this van tries to cut back in. Okay, so this car is nice. It just sort of slows down for the vehicle head to jump and merge ahead. Very good. All right, so I guess I'll keep driving and then touch base again very shortly. Actually, you know what? I just realized I haven't had it on recirculate. That's why I thought I could smell some of the exhaust coming in. So yeah, so with the control pad here, you've got to actually physically push the button, which I think I appreciate that. I appreciate the tactileness. I've just got a pat on the bum here for looking at the pad down here, but I don't mind a physical button to engage functions like that. You know, as opposed to having to look at the screen and tap it and make sure you put your thumb at the right spot. So yeah, I for one feeling good about the fact that there is some kickback and some pushback against screen-based controls, right? Right. That's better. I'm not smelling the exhaust as much anymore. So yeah, some smell does come through. Right. Let's keep driving on. Right, so I think we are about to emerge from the tunnel. You can feel the elevation change, and you might have noticed too, as we were driving, you can see the suburb names on the side of the road there, just, I guess, in case of emergency, right? Or just to give you some bearing. Otherwise, you can get very lost down here. You have no idea where you are. And speaking of knowing, no idea where we are, Waze is doing the same thing there. You can see they just had no clue after a while. And that's not a function of this particular tunnel, but a function of just tunnels in general. I find after about 10 minutes in any tunnel, and yes, well, not maybe not 10, even 5 minutes in any tunnel in Sydney, Waze will just completely lose it and just loses its bearings. So, interesting. I guess you got to keep your wits about you and pay attention to this, to the signs and which exit to take and so on. Let's see how long. Okay, right. So now Waze is back on track. Mobile phone camera ahead. Yes, Sydney also has mobile phone cameras planted on top of the, like on the gantry, so you can see probably above the LED speed limit sign, so you can see some cameras pointing downwards. So I think they're the mobile phone cameras. So there we go. Oh, I do not want to exit. I want to go on the M5, so I will exit this lane and continue on. There we go. Pretty crazy rain, hey? Pretty crazy. Been a lot of rain. 13 minutes remaining. Not bad, not bad. This freeway, half an hour. Gets you from North Sydney to Liverpool these days. It's pretty good. Be happy to pay for it. Right, I might zip into this lane since people are merging from the left. Let's zip up to 100. You can probably hold it. Goes up by 5 and then overshoots. So I will go back down to 100 kph. There's the max speed limit. Very good. Just do wish I had auto steer. Bit of feedback for General Motors / Cadillac. Be nice to have auto steer. Or tell me how to activate it. Haven't been able to find it in the controls this week, so fine. But it'd be nice to have that auto steer function. It does, however, have one pedal driving. So for all you one pedal driving fans out there, yes, it's pretty good as well. It's, well, on normal mode. There's like normal and then there's strong. So I like the normal one pedal driving. I find strong a little bit too regressive. It just sort of pulls you back too much. But normal's good. Normal's good. Slows down to a stop most of the time, to the level that I'm comfortable with. All right, rain, rain, go away. Come again another day, indeed. All right, I'll keep driving. Let's see how it goes in like stop-start, slowish traffic with poor visibility. You can watch this in fast forward, so stay tuned, everyone. I just put on the seat heaters there, and I'm going to put on the steering wheel heating as well. Not too cold, but you know what? I'm about to return this car. I might as well enjoy it, right? Get the full Cadillac experience, and I guess that's, you know, that's part of the appeal, right? The Cadillac brand. Like, even if you've never driven a Cadillac or never even been one, you've heard of Cadillac, right? Cadillac is like pretty schmick brand, right? Pretty schmick cars coming out of America. It's got a history behind it, you know, part of their culture. And like being Australians, you know, embrace everyone's culture, right? European, British, Asian, Chinese, Japanese, American, South American. Yeah, if you do things well, we'll accept you. That's how I feel it anyway. Do it well, enter the market, do it properly, appeal to the local market, local demographic, and then we'll accept you. Make it worth our while. This would be a nice luxury airport transfer, hey? From, for example, Western Sydney Airport, which is about to open in the next 12 months, I think, for the news articles I've been reading. You know, could have a fleet of nice vehicles shuttling you from Western Sydney Airport, which will be about probably 45 minutes, maybe an hour in traffic on the motorway out back into downtown. Could be a real boon for kind of, you know, luxury kind of vehicles, especially the EVs. Nice, comfortable rides on the motorway. That'd be good, eh? If you don't want to catch the metro. Not that the metro gets all the way in anyway. I'm gonna catch a combination of train and metro, but if you just want to sit in luxury like this, could be an opportunity there for airport limo drivers, chauffeurs, so on. Could be good. All right, now I'm going to keep driving. All right, so we're about to take the exit here. Yeah, I had a funny comment the other day from one of my videos. I don't know which one it was, but someone I didn't recognize who the username was. Someone wrote, "Why do you always have your map on like you don't know where you're going?" I thought that was quite an odd comment. I think most people have a map on these days, even if they know where they're going. It's kind of like their their road map, too. It's kind of like their, you know, guide, right? I mean, I still have my map on with Waze running, even if I know where I'm going, because one, thank you, right on cue. Police reported ahead, so police radar. Not that I'm speeding, but it's nice to know where they are. It's like gamifying your life, right? You just want to know stuff, information around you. Obstacles, like the roadkill on the road or just a pothole or something that someone's marked. That's kind of that community that's looking out for each other. And the third thing is traffic routing, right? So it tells you the best way home, or if there's an obstacle or obstruction ahead or a traffic jam, it'll tell you to go a different way. I've saved a lot of time. So I think, you know, why not use the tech if you've got it? So good. Of course I'm going to have Waze or some kind of navigation system up. A lot of the good cars these days have got that. Have got nav up by default. And obviously Tesla has that, and the Xpeng's got that too. BYDs have that now. Like a lot of the new cars have that. It's a shame Cadillac doesn't have native navigation. I find that very odd. Even using, you know, like a third-party system like Android Automotive, which I think is actually pretty good. Not a bad system. Uses Google Maps, Even has EV trip planning. So I think if you don't want to develop your own system like Tesla, then I think Android Automotive is probably the next best option to use. But critically, if you're driving an EV, you've got to have some sort of native trip planning, particularly for long drives. I think it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. All right, almost at the turnoff. Righto, we are about to turn off the M5 finally. So good, these motorways. Gets you very quickly from A to B, if there's no traffic. I guess we're driving outside of peak hours, so not too bad. It's pretty bad visibility, right? Pretty bad, but not bad enough that I can't see. And this cruise control behaved admirably. Very good. Shame there's no auto steer. I think I've harped on that enough. Don't want to labour the point too much. Okay. Cool, excuse me. Pardon me. Alright. You want to pause the video to sneeze. I want to show you end-to-end driving, because we're all about transparency on this video, on this channel. I want to show you that we can do these drives no problem. No editing required, except for speeding up places in places, but otherwise pretty much end to end. Right, at the traffic light now. If you see any interesting EVs on these drives, let us know. Obviously I can't pay attention to all the cars that pass me, but if you see any interesting EVs on the clips, yeah, just let me know in the comments. I'll go back and have a look myself, especially any camouflaged ones. I mean, camouflage, I normally do spot them, but if you see any on the drive that we didn't see first time around, let us know. Very interesting. So many new cars coming into the country. We're very lucky. I feel like Australia is like one big expo or exhibition for these brands. Let's just bring the cars to Australia. You know, a very receptive test audience or test buyers. We could tweak it for other countries, other markets in Asia and Europe, in North America, maybe. Don't mind testing it, being beta testers for the world. Kind of a cross section, aren't we, between Europe, America, Asia. So good, so good. Feel very fortunate to live here for that reason. Just from a purely selfish perspective as a content creator, bring the cars over, let us test them. Always happy to be a beta tester. Would I be happy to be an alpha tester? By alpha, I mean like do camo testing. Yeah, totally. Well, I doubt OEMs will let me do that, like camo testing, like testing the camouflage vehicle. Like see it when it's super raw, with all the bugs and so on. That'd be cool, right? Probably wouldn't let me publish anyway, so there's probably no point. I think beta testing's enough. Well, to be fair, it's not really beta testing, right? Because these are pretty much production cars. So, although we do get, I mean, occasionally I do, ooh, I better stop. Is it this one? I don't know. I think this is the stopping lane. Yeah, keep clear, okay. It's hard to tell in the rain. Phew, almost broke the law. But yeah, I mean, these we rarely get pre-production vehicles. Occasionally we do. And then, you know, there's a big disclaimer, I've got to tell you, it's a pre-production car. Wow, we are almost there. How good is that? Wasn't that long a drive at all. But yeah, I guess as we finish up, I just wanted to, once again, before I forget, thank General Motors Australia. I think that's technically General Motors Australia, New Zealand, ANZ, for this loan vehicle, for the Cadillac Lyriq with a Q. I am looking forward to the Optique. Apparently on the website it says coming 2026. So I'll test the Optique once it arrives in Australia. Hopefully it's got improvements too, that'd be nice. But otherwise, I'm Tom, this is Ludicrous Feed. Thank you so much for watching. Wow, I have to stop as that truck turns in front of me. Yeah, until the next video, it's happy charging.